I'm Apicorus with the NSA.
There is something real here.
Did you believe that our government is in possession of Reapers?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and for which to the intelligence committees. I actually had people with the first-hand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
Biologics came in some of these numbers.
Those could represent exquisite new adversary technology.
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
The government is covering up some level of its knowledge and understanding about what some of those things are.
The Sol Foundation, which just announced a new initiative for UFO research and policy.
It's nuts, man. I mean, we're just small-town buds who saw a UFO in the woods. I mean, now we're hanging out with the government.
Wow. What floor were you guys on?
Hello and welcome to another edition of Anomaly Now, straight out of Austin, Texas. I am Smiles Lewis, your host. I am the representative of the 501c3 nonprofit Anomaly Archives, aka the Scientific Anomaly Institute. This is our weekly news and media roundup, serving the anomaly community, all things anomalous, from cryptozoology and consciousness to UFOs, ufology, and UAPs, and all points in between. Let's dive right in. Hey, of course, you can go to our Flipboard over at flipboard.com/@Anomaly Archives and click through the links there, and you'll find more information. But you know what? Before we go to that, I just want to continue to remind folks that you can go to our website, anomalyarchives.org, and we have a page there for information about the recent, awesome, wonderful 2025 Archives of the Impossible AOTI conference, the UFO and the Impossible. They did recently release all the videos in a playlist that you can watch online for free. However, they still, weeks later, have not made those videos public. They are unlisted. They're public if you find a link to them. Well, their playlist, which is also not public, has a link to those videos, but you can go to our website, you can click through, and there's the link to the playlist there, and it'll take you to the actual YouTube playlist there where you can see all the videos, and they're great. These are fantastic, and as I've continued to recommend, the experiencer metadata panel and its Q&A are the best parts of this awesome conference. So many great things to watch and learn about in this conference. So we hope you'll go check that out. But yeah, go over to our Flipboard and you can find out more about all the news links that we're going to be covering tonight. And of course, you can go to our website, anomalyarchives.org, and we'll be posting a individual show notes page for this episode. If you go to anomalyarchives.org/video/anomaly-now, that should get you to the directory of all the past shows, including all the past shows show notes page. So we'll hope you take advantage of that. So yes, go over to Flipboard. You can flip through and find all the stuff we're going to be talking about. So the big news this weekend for me was, and this came out sometime back this last month. There were two different previously unavailable documents from the BASS Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies contract. This is the organization that was created by Bob Bigelow that got the contract that was created by Harry Reid, that was part of the secret program called OSAP. And of course, you can go to our website and find out more about that. That is Oh, did I not? I did not bring up that page. Oh, well, I'll put that in the show notes. But yes, there is these two different documents that have been released. The 10-month report issued July 30th, 2009. And this is like a, 530-page PDF scan of this document with a lot of interesting background and history that was presented. It's unclear to me. John Greenwald has commented on this and basically indicated that this seems to be internal materials that didn't necessarily make their way to the government officials as part of that official government process. I don't fully understand all that, but we're going to try to put links to this so that you can check it out. There is also this summary report on BAASS UAP analysis capabilities, dated November 23rd, 2010, which goes into details about the Tic Tac incident. And, there's long been a lot of controversy surrounding how all these videos emerged, how all this started in 2017, all the claims of Lou Elizondo and all the other people involved. So it gets a little murky, but of course, one person I continually encourage folks to utilize is the reportage of our good friend Micah Hanks over at micahhanks.com/podcast. You can find his latest publicly available episode, the Tic Tac Report, Bass Document Leaks, and OSAP Secrets. And as usual, does a great job of reporting on this. And one of the things that I think is most interesting is he comments about there's been a sense that there's slight differences in the reports about the Tic Tac incident from the three different sources, and how they've changed over time. And without making accusations, it does appear that for whatever reason, certain details of this incident have the story has changed slightly over time. I encourage you to go listen to that and hear what he has to say about that. And on the page that we've created at the Anomaly Archives for this, for the Bass OSAP documents that are coming out, are links to a lot of excellent information. I wonder if I can just pull that up. Yeah, maybe. No. No, it's not going to work. Okay, well, anyway, our other friend Christian Lambright has written a lot about this, and one of the interesting things that's of course come out in these documents is the reference to an individual named Doug Kurth, Kurth, who according to Jacques Vallée's journals ended up being he was one of the original Tic Tac witnesses, and somehow became part of the team, the IT department team, working with Vallée on his Capella database at Bass. I have yet to hear exactly how that string of coincidences came about, but I'm sure it's very interesting. We shall see. Well, moving right along, where was it going to go next? Oh, yes. So this weekend was, of course, Contact in the Desert, what's often described as the largest UFO contact-oriented UFO event going on these days. And lots of interesting stuff happening, of course. And I don't really have anything to show about this or talk about, but there was a lot of interesting presentations, of course, and the telepathy tapes that we talked about a lot on this podcast. One of the doctors that's involved in that project was there with a team of mother and daughter, I think, and did a live presentation, live experiment of this kind of phenomenon. And apparently it's impressed a lot of people. There's a leaked video of it, but it's really not worth showing. But if you search online, you can find information about that. But I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot about things like that coming out of the Contact in the Desert event. But the thing that caught my attention was the Anomalous Coalition, the multi-subreddit group that had done a series of AMA Ask Me Anythings online, did one this weekend, and I was completely caught off guard by it, but did catch some of the proceedings live, and you can go and watch the rebroadcast of that. Again, we'll post a link to that. But there were some clips I did want to play, where Jacques Vallée. So this was hosted by or moderated by Leslie Kean, featuring Jeff Kripal and Jacques Vallée, a great combo there. And they were answering questions posted in Reddit about UFOs, of course, UAP. And the two things that caught my eye that I did get to see live, and which I really want to share with you now, are from, of course, Jacques Vallée. The whole thing is probably worth watching. I haven't seen the entire thing, but let's see. Right. So this first thing is Jacques Vallée being asked a very important question that relates to, I've been ranting about Klaus and others' commentary about the issue of Peter Thiel and his database hoovering up information, his alleged connections to Enigma Labs, as well as the murky funding of that and its use as a data gathering tool. And I recently rewatched the interview between Jack Brewer of EFR, Expanding Frontiers Research, with Dr. Jensine Andreessen, who is the author of Hyperconflation, one of a two-book series on UAP science and this convergence with data gathering and these really creepy government connections involving this woman, Kirsten Bartok Touw, Touw, who's previously listed as a source of pre-seed funding for Enigma Labs. Enigma Labs being this app developing company that is trying to leverage data gathering to assist the government. But there are some very murky connections here. So I highly recommend this article from August of 2023 by Jack Brewer, which links also to the video interview with Dr. Jensine Andreessen, and also again Klaus of Patterns Tell Stories podcast, his article "Why Matthew Brown's Testimony is Important," which just setting aside the whole issue of Matthew Brown's testimony, there's good information in this article about these murky connections. Why am I bringing this all up as I diverged off of my mentioning of this Contact in the Desert and video? Well, let me play this. There's two clips I want to play. This first one is relevant to this and is from Jacques Vallée. Yeah, here we go. It's pretty long.
Next question, I guess, please. A question for Jacques from our UFO Sloth. Jacques, a question regarding the following excerpt from your latest book, Forbidden Science 6, quotes, "Opulence was de rigueur as Gary Nolan and I politely awaited our turn to present our speculative deal before venture tycoon Peter Thiel, an investment genius and Donald Trump supporter," close quotes. What exactly did you and Gary Nolan pitch to Peter Thiel, and is that project still alive in some form today?
Peter Thiel has gone on to help fund a project led by a very bright woman to build advanced databases, which obviously where he can be of great counsel, and in terms of capturing UFO experiences and looking for patterns within it. And I think people in the field have been aware of that effort to gather those databases, and it's ongoing. And the question was, we were looking for something different because of the work we've been doing with recovered objects or recovered materials after landings, after interaction with UFOs, and we wanted to show Mr. Thiel what we had to see what ideas he would have. I have a lot of respect for him as a very successful colleague in venture capital. He was successful in funding companies that some of us had tried to do and couldn't do. One of them was PayPal. PayPal is not an easy system to build, and there had been many failures before. He was one of the key investors in PayPal. So there is we may disagree on certain things, obviously, but there is certainly some element of mutual respect, certainly a lot of respect from my side for his achievements, which are intellectual achievements. You don't do that just by writing a big check, especially not when you're the first investor in something. So that's the way Silicon Valley works, and that's the way the unique I think genius of the American venture capital industry has been, both in medicine and so both Gary and I were there to with just completely open question. What are we going to do with all this? Where do we start? And obviously, I had started with the data processing side of it, the AI on top of complex databases that I had done with Mr. Bigelow. I mean, we had done at the BAS project, sponsored by the government. But that project was terminated for no clear reason. So we never went on to build the AI layer that was really critical to everything else. So it's essentially what's known in Silicon Valley as a dead puppy. Okay, and somebody will pick it up at some point. But we were not talking about that. We were talking about something more radical, especially on the material sense. And we're still wondering where that should go. And to answer that, we have to do a lot more work in the lab first before we can theorize. So that's essentially that's the whole answer to that question. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, yeah, he didn't name the person. I suspect it's the person named by Dr. Jensen. Yes, Valet alludes to this very intelligent woman that I suspect is the person that Dr. Jensen is referred to. And so the question was about Peter Thiel. And yes, this was revealed in Jacques' latest volume 6, his comment about having met with him. And yes, Valet, as a venture capitalist himself, has obviously rubbed elbows with very powerful people, including Peter Thiel. And yeah, draw your own conclusions. But I'm glad that question was asked. I'm glad that he answered it, even if it didn't exactly probably satisfy all of our curiosities. But there you go. But yeah, you can watch the rest of that video. And there's another clip I'll play in just a second. But and I'm not sure this was mentioned in that same AMA, but there is a new paper put out by Valet in Progress in Aerospace Sciences. The journal Progress in Aerospace Sciences advises that there are a number of papers on UAP scheduled for publication in a special issue of this journal. So yes, over at ufos-scientificresearch.blogspot.com, that is the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Scientific Research blog of Keith Basterfield and Pauline Wilson. There's this May 30th article. 2 journals are to publish special issues on UAP. Woohoo! And yes, one of them includes a new article, a new essay, a new research article by Jacques Vallée, Estimates of Radiative Energy Values in Ground Level Observations of an Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. Quite a mouthful. You can get a preview of this over at sciencedirect.com. This has the abstract for this upcoming paper as well as some snippets from it. Very curious to dive into that, but you can find the links in our show notes and the Flipboard to that. But so the other big thing that was a revelation to me, I don't know how I missed this, but apparently a year ago there was an organization called Unhidden, where they highlight NHI in the word unhidden. That is a British effort to, as mental health professionals, educate the public about the need for a revamp of the mental health arena for people who've had experiences. And yes, here is that clip. It also is, this clip is a little long too, but it's worth watching. Hold on.
Leslie, there's a study going on in which I'm participating partially, and that's very interesting, going on in England, and it's called Unhidden, where the NHI is a national health institution of Great Britain. And they just published this report. Because I said, all your physics, that's fine, that's really interesting. But what about the experiences? What about the people that Jeff was just talking about, the witnesses? They are hurt. They are hurt psychically and sometimes physically, many times physically, and nobody cares. I mean, their doctor, if they admit to their doctor that this came from a UFO, it only makes the case worse. Okay. It's called the impact of exceptional experiences.
Yeah.
And
Could you pull it up again? So, because
disclosure,
yeah.
on mental health. Okay.
And I know that the group has a website, so I'm assuming that paper is available on their website.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that study is being funded in England, and they use a graph that comes from a presentation I made at Stanford a couple of years ago about the distribution of cases. Now, on close to zero, you see that little hill, which is the cases that Congress talks about, cases that come from airplanes, from the armed forces, from people in government, and so on. And then the curve to the right is the cases that I study. And those are from farmers, people in the field, people who've seen something, who've been hurt as well. But they, I don't know what happened to this. They've been hurt, and they've felt it, in their bodies, and nobody is interested in those cases, and there are many more. As Jeff just said, those cases are all over the place, and we don't hear about them because everybody wants to know, what happened to the astronauts, what happened to people in the armed forces, what happened to the aviators, which is important because of the instruments they had at their disposal that can give us technical information. But I assure you that the farmer in the field has technical information that we've never really listened to, and we should. And again, I close that parenthesis, but I wanted to mention that study in England because we have to do something about the witnesses who have been profoundly affected and often hurt psychologically, socially, and physically by the phenomenon. And right now we're ignoring them.
Right. I just so much agree with you, Jacques, and I'm working on trying to find ways to integrate them, that realm, into the mainstream dialogue as much as we can, because I just really feel for what you're saying.
So yes, very important. And I don't know how I missed this, but yeah, it's this report was put out in April of last year, 2024. And credit to, of course, Micah Hanks's organization, the debrief.org. Their writer JP Haig, back in December, in his article "Where the Second UAP Disclosure Act Failure May Now Steer the Arc of Human History," he actually alludes to, in the list of citizen organizations, he says, as matters stand, the role of government is being fulfilled by earnest private citizen initiatives. Prominent examples led by eminent individuals in which the public ought to be made aware include the following. And among the list, besides this, heading it off with the Soul Foundation, is Unhidden, a not-for-profit foundation led by doctors and clinical psychologists whose mission is to encourage better conversations about UAPs and promote more effective support for people who have had, quote unquote, exceptional experiences. This is where I want to kind of go with some of what I want to talk about. So you can go to unhidden.org, and if you add /white-paper, you'll get this link to the paper where you can read it online. You can download it. You can watch an accompanying video where they explain their ideas and their main points. They have like a 5-point plan. There's a lot of other interesting aspects of this, including so interestingly enough, you can just take a look at their ambassadors. That includes, of course, Jacques Vallée, former U.S. Navy pilot Alex Dietrich, retired Rear Admiral Tim Gaide, and Dr. Beatriz Villarreal, among others, I'm sure. And of course, Vallée was saying he's collaborating with them on this. But yeah, this was released in April of last year, and just now being reminded of it or finding out about it. But so their Unhidden's 5 recommendations include: the UK government should publicly acknowledge that UAP sightings and other forms of exceptional experiences are real, and that the people who have experienced them may need care and support. 2, the NHS and professional bodies should develop guidance for health and social care professionals to make it easier for them to consult patients presenting the exceptional experiences in a non-judgmental and evidence-based manner. And you can read the rest at their website. That is from their X account. So the paper, which is only about 47 pages long, so here in their table of contents is the section on exceptional experiences. What do we mean by exceptional experiences? I was, of course, curious about this for reasons I'll express here momentarily. But yeah, if you go down to where they talk about exceptional experiences, what do we mean by them? And they're basically just saying, according to these different polls, that whether it's more recent polls like this YouGov poll from May of 2021, 1 in 14 Britons say that they have seen a UFO. Many respondents also have a family member, friend, or someone else they know who says that they have seen one. This is interesting. He says, this means that overall 1 in 5 Britons, 20%, say that they or someone they know have seen a UFO. This statistic, while higher than many may expect, offers no indication of the type and nature of the claimed experience. But there's also let's see. Oh, so okay. What links UFO, UAP sightings, and paranormal experiences is that both are examples of exceptional experiences, a term that was defined by Rabirion et al. In 2010 as follows. An exceptional experience is usually a rare, spontaneous, or provoked experience involving, from the subject's point of view, a non-ordinary interaction with his or her environment. It often generates intense emotions, both positive and negative, stemming from its unusual and strange nature. Rabiron quotes Ross, 1992, in stating that more than half of people say they have had an exceptional experience in their lifetime, a figure that also appears in the results of a Gallup poll from 1991. This means that exceptional experiences are more common in the general population than the probability of developing cancer. That's quite a statement there. But what I found disappointing in this paper is that there is no reference to earlier and other use of this term. And I'm not sure that if this is correct as to who coined this term. They do not mention somebody very important to me, and that is Ray White, R-H-E-A White, Ray White. She was the founder of the EHEN, Exceptional Human Experience Network, and she advocated for an experiential approach to the import and transformative power of EHEs, Exceptional Human Experiences. She was... I don't mention her and her organization as often as I used to, but she and the EHE network were one of the biggest influences on me founding the Anomaly Archives in 2002, 2003. She was a more parapsychologically oriented, but she preferred a more humanistic approach to recording the stories and the narratives, the transformative experiences of the people, the experiencers, having the EHEs, these exceptional human experiences. And, she definitely was a wonderful person who helped spread this kind of an idea. There's a not so complete archive of her webpage over at ehe.org for the Exceptional Human Experience Network. I don't think all the links work anymore. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2007, and you can find links at our website to these recollections and appreciations of Ray White from various people, and this also this in memory of Ray White, Recollections of a Life in Parapsychology and Beyond. And just finally, another example here. Oh, let's see. Is it going to load? Gosh darn it, come back. Right. This is a paper from 2012 from William Broad, B-R-A-U-D, Health and Well-Being Benefits of Exceptional Human Experiences. And the abstract states, EHEs are anomalous experiences that, if worked with sufficiently, can foster beneficial and transformative changes in the experiencer. This chapter explores the nature, accompaniments, and after effects of such experiences and focuses on the variety of ways in which their experiencing and their disclosure can benefit the experiencer's mental health and well-being. The EHEs treated here include primarily mystical and unitive psychical encounter, unusual death-related, and peak experiences. The possible mental health benefits are described in the context of the models and findings of theorists Ray White on their transformative potential and their useful role in establishing more life-potentiating self-narratives, James Pennebaker and Ian Wickramasekera on the health benefits of disclosing these types of experiences to others and even more fully to oneself. And it goes on. All of this is to say, what's old is new, and I'm glad that this terminology is getting some more use. It goes back to my support and encouragement for people like Jacques Vallée, who, as much as, yes, he's rubbed elbows with people who I have grave concerns about, I have never lost faith in Vallée's ability to navigate this complex world of ours and the important people that he undoubtedly and we know has come into contact with, as chronicled in his journals, which he has thankfully provided to us. His journals are some of the most important pieces of history that we have as those trying to look for answers to the strange, the mysterious, the anomalous. Well, I hope you all are doing well and will like and subscribe. Consider going to our patreon.com/Anomaly Archives page and becoming a member either for free or helping donate so that we can get a new physical location very, very soon. That's going to be it for us. Good night.